Hello everyone, today we're going to see the first and the second experiments of DBMS database management system. According to our question, we are supposed to create 5 tables by the names of course, batch, inquiry, enrollment, and fees paid. Now all of these have various attributes inside as defined in the question, and they also have their own data types. And in some of them, the constraint not null has been used. The constraint basically means that the user has to give some value. It will not take null for an input. That is what it means. That is why it is the constraint not null which has been used. So once we're done constructing the tables, our tables have to look like this: the course table, batch, inquiry, enrollment, and fees paid. And furthermore, there are a few other changes that are supposed to be made. These 15 changes are supposed to be made. Now let us look at the code. So here it is. Here we have the first table. Now to create any table, we have the syntax. Hold on, let me just take a notepad. To create any table, we have the syntax create table. The table name should be given, for example, course. And then inside, the attributes have to be mentioned, like how about course code, course name. Now, these are the 2 attributes I want. These are the 2 attributes that I want. Now I've got to specify the data type. So for course, for code, let me go for number because the code would be a numeric value, right? And then for name, I'd have a var character or character would be fine. Var character accepts both numbers and alphabets as well. So let me specify it as 25 characters. Yes. This is going to be our syntax for create table, that is course. Any table, this same syntax which is going to be followed. Now, as mentioned, we have created the table course along with my register number, and the table has been created. So here table course has been created. The next table batch has been created. See, this is the table created here was batch. Let's take a look. Here. Table batch has been created, and then here we have inquiry. Nothing but put all the required attributes inside. If it is not null, then put a constraint F7, like you give a name for the constraint. Now to add a constraint, the syntax is going to be inquiry number, which is the attribute number, then constraint F7, the keyword constraint with the constraint name and whatever constraint it is that you are going to use. For example, be it unique or primary, or not null, anything like that. Now table inquiry is done, as you can see. With the same format, we go for the next table, which is enrollment. Using the same syntax, we can get through. Then we have the next table, which is fees paid, and as you can see, the same thing has been done here as well. Now all the 5 tables have been created. Now let's see let's describe the tables. Now so far we have created the tables, we have not entered the values here. So this is a course table in which you can see the column names are displayed here, course code, and here null, question mark means is it null? We have defined the attribute saying that it is not null. So not null is written here, and the next is it is numeric, so number is given here. And as you can see, all the column names as well as all of this has been specified. This is the next table. The second table is batch. Now the batch, all the column names and the not null attributes, that is the constraints, as well as the numeric type or date type, all of these have been explained. Next is describe table inquiry. All of that we've entered is just being displayed in this format. Now next is describe enrollment. The table enrollment, same thing followed here as well. Next is fees paid. This is the last one. And as you can see here, we have not given not null, and as a result here we don't see it. But here, since we've given it for roll number and fees paid date, we have the not null constraint specified here. Then we insert. Now to insert values, you have two methods to insert values, which is insert into the table name. So as we've seen here with course, let's go with course, and then you open, and then specify the attributes, which is code and name, right? Then values, and then again here you have single quotes, and then the ampersand symbol, code. Sorry. And then again single quotes, the ampersand symbol, and then name. Yeah. This is the first type, and this is going to be the type which you'd want to use. The other type, let me type that, insert into course code, comma, name, values. Now the only thing which is going to change is, the only thing that is going to change would be you directly giving the values. So if you're going to go with this format, then you can only enter single values. For example, code, I'm going to specify, code I'm going to specify as 10. And name, I'm going to give it as course name DBMS. So, and then we have the semicolon. So as you can see, when you use the second model, you can only, when you use the second method, you can only insert one value, one row or record value at a time. But when you use this format, it can go up to any number of times that you desire. So we have used this in our code. Going back, yeah. So we have insert into course 3 all of these values. Actually, the command has been given here, and once you enter all the values, the system itself generates. As you can see, this is very similar to the second method that we mentioned over there previously. The first row has been created. Now again, a row has been created. This is the second one. All we're doing is just giving the values as specified in the question. Let's take a look. Here we have it. The course table has two records, that is two sets of values. So that is all that we've given for the time being. Now, getting back, this is the second table, namely batch. Now here we do the same thing, insert into batch the table name and then the attributes, values, and then specify. Now all of the data has been inserted, and once it is, the system itself generates this code. So here one row has been created now. The second row has been created. Third row, fourth row, yeah. So 4 rows for table batch. Now the third table is inquiry. For inquiry, the same format again has been followed. Insert into inquiry. This is the table name, and then all the attributes inside, and values, and using the ampersand symbol we do it. Note that the data types or the constraints are not mentioned in this while inserting. That is only done in the first during table creation. Now as we can see, the values have been entered. One row has been created. Again the second one, and then we move to the fourth table, which is enrollment. The same format has been used, and we enter the values. Now this goes on for all the 5. I'm just going to go fast. Now insert into fees paid is the final table. Here it is, the final table. we're inserting values into it. Now we've completed entering values. Now we're going to take a look at our tables. This is the first table, which is course, the table course, and this is how it looks. And then the second one was batch. Here it is. The third table is inquiry. Now this is how it looks. An enrollment table after we've entered all the values, and fees paid table after we've entered all the values. Now basically the first part of all the questions has been completed, but then there have been few other questions, alterations that sir has specified, so we are going to be doing that. See here, here in table inquiry, we are going to add a constraint which is primary. Now what is the difference between a primary key and a unique key? A primary key or a unique key is used when you don't want the same value to be repeated again. For example, if there are 100 students in a class and all of them have their roll numbers, all of their roll numbers are going to be unique, right? There's going to be no repetition. So for that we use a primary key or a unique key. The only difference between the two would be when we use a primary key can be used only once in the table, whereas the unique key can be used repeated times. Now we're going to add the constraint primary into the table inquiry for the column name inquiry number. So all of the syntax that we have to use would be alter table inquiry. See, alter table inquiry is the table name, add constraint name here is P1, primary key inquiry number. That's all. Now the table has been altered. Now here we add in the enrollment table, we add another primary key. Now please note that the constraint names that you're giving for the constraint names should be unique for every table or different values that you give. For example, here it is P1, here it is P2. If you're going to use the same name, then it would show an error. So here we again add, and now we use a foreign key. Now a foreign key, for example, a foreign key is used when, what if we have two tables where one table contains the students' register numbers and their house details, whereas the second table contains the students' register numbers and their marks. What if you had to combine both? So what I could possibly do would be to combine both the tables. From the first table, I'd make the roll number, the register number, as primary or unique, and from the second one, I'd use the second table, I'd use a foreign key to reference that roll number, so that both would be combined and it would almost seem like a single table. So that is the use of a foreign key. It is used to reference. Here we have it, alter table inquiry. So alter table name, add constraint, and one. As you can see, the name is again unique. The name cannot be repeated. Here we have foreign key, and then which the column name, which column we'd like to make a foreign key notified. So that would be specified here, and then it references enrollment and inquiry number. References would be the keyword which is used. Enrollment is the other table. Remember, we are in the table. So we are currently working on the table inquiry, but we want to reference to the table enrollment, that is the inquiry number, the column name of inquiry number in the table enrollment. So that is specified. First, the details of the table inquiry, and then referencing the details of the table enrollment. So that is how we use the foreign key. So unique key, all of the keys have the same syntax, which is alter table and then the table name, add constraint, the constraint name, and you give whichever constraint that you want. So here we are using unique. Here in table batch, we again add a constraint which is unique. In query, again we add a constraint which is unique. Yeah, here we modify the data type. So, for example, in my table, if I have accidentally or for that moment, I have specified that my postcode is going to be numeric, but then I want it to be a character. This is how we change it. That is, alter table name, modify the column name, and then along with the type that you want to put it. See, for example, alter table. For the example that we've been seeing from Notepad, if we want to change this, if since we've put this as number, if we want to change this as character, what would we do? We put alter table course modify, and here the name of this attribute code, and then I put character and specify the numeric details, as simple as that, and the table would be altered. Now when we describe the table, the changes will be reflected on the table. Here again we've added a constraint, unique constraint. Here once again a unique constraint. Now to drop a column, what if we don't want a column? To drop it, again it's alter table enquiry, the table name, drop column, and then the column name. One difference to be noted would have been that, see, when we use the alter command, we usually don't use column, the name column. We only use the column name directly, as in the column name. For example, if I want to add, I'm just going to put add and then my column name. But when we drop, we use column. We put drop column end state. That is, we specify the name of the column. So column is used only when we want to drop. Then, as you can see, the changes have been reflected on the table. Now this is a case where enrollment has been a table which we've already created and inserted values. Now I want to create a new table of new enrollment, and I want to copy all the details of enrollment into new enrollment. Then what do I do? As usual, create the table. Let's go back. As usual, create the table new enrollment and put in all the attributes that are required, and then you use insert into new enrollment, select staff from enrollment. When you do this, this new enrollment is the name of the new table which has been created, and enrollment is the name of the previous table. So all the data of enrollment table would be passing on to new enrollment. So with that, see, when we select enrollment and we check for the output, all the information, all the data which have been entered into the enrollment table has been reflected here. Then to drop a constraint also is the same. Drop constraint C8. For column, remembering again, it would be drop column and then column name, but for constraint it would be directly drop constraint C8. So this select from inquiry table, where inquiry date is equal to system date. Now system date is the present date, which is in our screen right now, but then since there is no current date, it is showing as no rows selected. See, this also can be changed. Everywhere we give it as select star from inquiry, which is select star from table name. Since we give that, all the data is present. But if we only want a certain column, let's say I only want the register numbers to be displayed, I just put select register number from inquiry, that is from table name, and only the register numbers are going to be displayed. So star is used when you want all the rows, all the column names to be displayed, but if you want a single one or two or three, then it's better to specify and then you get only those. Now we are going to create another user, so that is very easy. The syntax is create user, the username identified by password. For example, I'm creating a user by my name Jeffy, and my password is going to be 123. So all I have to do would be create user Jeffy identified by 123, and the user would be created. And then you can try connecting into it. Once you've given the permission, once the main user has given the permission, surely the other person would be able to access. Now, after creating a new user, you have to grant permission. So grant create session to DBMS, grant insert delete update on post. You can choose to the extent of which you want to give them the permission. For example, on the table, if I want to give them the permission to delete or handle anything, then I could just go for grant all. But then if I want to restrict them with certain functions, then I'd have to specify the I'd have to specify the number of things or the permissions that I'm giving them. So when we see this grant insert delete update, I'm giving the permission only for them to insert, delete or update on course on this table to the person. That is, for example, grant insert delete update on course to Jeffy. So I'd be able to only make these changes to the table which I've given access under. Now, to revoke, to take back all of that, all you have to do is just replace grant with revoke. Everything else is the same. And in place of 2, you put to substitute from save point. Now when we put save point sp1, the table which we've made changes to or we've entered values, all of that is made like in sp1. Everything has been saved, has been frozen. Any changes that you do hereafter, you can still manage to retrieve the old information because you have saved all of that in sp1. For example, you make all of these changes, any changes that you want, and then you can roll back to sp1 and there'd be no changes at all. You just see the former table as it is. See, roll back to sp1. I've made all these changes, but when I finish my rollback, everything is going to still remain the same because of rollback. With this, we complete our first and second experiments of database management system.